the video podcast where you are the star. Speaking of which, Forest Edge Productions, we have Jake Fidler from Michigan and a former Michigander, Connor McBain in Atlanta, Georgia. How you doing, guys?
What's up?
Good. Doing good.
Now, Jake is the going to be the star here, and we'll be the co-host and about Forest Edge Productions, and maybe we can take a dip in the lake.
Yeah. Okay. So Forest Edge Productions is it's a small group of filmmakers from Michigan. I'd like to say it's not just me because I've had so many wonderful friends and crew members and cast members be a part of their films. I've helped people with theirs and they've helped me with mine. But when it comes to Forest Edge, it's just a bunch of people running around in the woods or, in my backyard making a film. I was originally going to do like a LLC kind of thing, but I kind of gone away from that. I decided that I don't want to do anything that has an official title. Because, when you're at our age where we just graduated from film school and you start an LLC, it ends up like falling apart like a year later. So,
and you lose all your friends.
What's that?
And you lose all your friends.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm trying not to have that happen. So with Forest Edge, we are just guerrilla filmmakers. We set up a shoot, we have a story, and we just see what happens. And a couple of years ago, last year actually, we did the Lake Tapes, which was just an idea, and we ran with it, and then ended up with this movie, which you can watch on our YouTube channel. So that's what Forest Edge is, and you can find our films on the YouTube channel.
Nice. Okay, that's excellent. But you know what? I think it was 8mm. It was a movie a long time ago, not too long ago.
Super 8?
Yeah, Super 8. Thank you very much.
Super 8.
That's kind of what you described as how Steven Spielberg started out. He had the bumps in the road and things like that, but, he started just with a camera, simple camera, and some ideas and local friends and that. So it makes a lot of sense. So don't underestimate your potential there. You don't know.
Right, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What I like, if I can say something about Forest Edge, what I like about the guerrilla filmmaking is it's like guerrilla filmmaking, but only in the sense where like the camera guy is the only really crew you have. There's still like effort and detail and sort of planning put behind the shots and the blocking, and there's good cinematography. It's not just low effort everything, and there's characters and story, and the heart and the people having fun on set comes off in the final product, and it makes up for a lot of the crew work that we didn't have. Because a lot of the times at this young level, a lot of the kids focus on the crew and the paperwork without forgetting the main part of the film, which is for it to have heart and to have fun while making it. So
right, yeah. Like with Lake Tapes, the first day we started with the last 3 episodes, only 2 people showed up, and we still ended up doing something with it. We still had to roll with it. We still had to have like a plan B, which is something I'll get into in a second. But then, one of the last shoots that we had, we filmed from like 7 to 1 in the morning. And, we had like this whole setup in basement, and it was supposed to be like the future, yeah. So one of my main things with guerrilla filmmaking is that I think any independent filmmaker should start out with guerrilla filmmaking. And there's so many. It's just because, when I went to film school, we were taught all of these specifications of how we need to make films. We need to fill out all these paperworks. We need to have, like 50 different people on the crew. I think that overwhelms filmmakers that are just getting into the game. So I think to start out, you should just pick up a camera, grab some friends, have a good story, or even just have, a vibe of a story, and just go out and make something. There's
Yeah,
really no bad way you could do it.
Exactly.
you have the heart. That's what you're saying, right? You have the heart, and that's enough.
Right.
Because
Yeah,
the heart is
exactly.
unlimited.
Um,
Wow.
but there's
Very
a
true.
couple ways you can do it too, and it's pretty important. It is you need the heart, you need the passion for it, but you need a good story.
Yeah.
If you're just going out there and like recording, the grass like that, okay, sure, you can do that, but that's not really, you know, what we're looking for. Most filmmakers will agree with this. It takes a good story with good heart and passion. But the thing with guerrilla filmmaking is you got to have like plans A to Z. You're going to have all of these roadblocks in the way.
Like losing
I had-
sunlight.
yeah, like you're going to be filming, like for hours on end, and you're going to lose that sunlight. So how do you get around that? You're going to have all these different plans. I've been working on a film with my friend, and we've been working on it for like probably a year now, and all we've ran into are roadblocks. But we have these multiple plans set up so that if something does happen, we'll have plan B or C or all the way down. And that's how you get stuff done. And that's how you get a film produced and finished. So that's one of the ways you can do that.
I like what you're saying, because when you get people together, okay, that has a heart for it, and they actually show up, like you said, only 2 people showed up that one time. When they show up, okay, that they're in it not for the money. They're in it to learn, experience, be creative, have fun. Okay, it kind of separates the wheat from the chaff. Community theater is the same way. How much did they pay you? Nothing. I wanted to be in the show, and so
Yeah.
And you drove all the way across town?
exactly, and I've experienced that. So some people, right? Tell me if I'm right or wrong. Some people, that's what shows the who is, I don't know the right word, who's pregnant with the idea, okay, and they're ready to give birth to whatever to. Hey, can you use me for something? Okay, those kind of people you want to hold on to, because they'll show up when all of a sudden that there's money involved too.
Yep. Absolutely.
No, absolutely. I agree. When it came to the lake tapes, that started out with just me and Daniel, my friend Daniel, and then it ended up being me, Daniel, Connor, and David, and then it ended up with this huge cast of people who,
Like more and more people wanted to be
Yeah.
shown in it and be part of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't forget Sophie; she was awesome too.
Yeah, exactly. And Sophie, and then there was Tony, and there was just so many people that ended up wanting to be part of this because, like you said earlier, there was
There were
passion.
people Jake didn't even know that showed up.
Yeah, no, there really were. Yeah, and I was happy about that because there were so many people showing up, seeing, the first couple episodes and be like, hey, this story has passion, it has heart, and it's so weird and it catches my attention. I want to be part of it. And I think that's the beauty of guerrilla filmmaking, because if you have all of these people, you're going to have a place for them, and that's
Right.
just the great things part of it. Yeah.
So why don't you talk about where we shot at and how it's miraculous we never got any trouble with the law.
Read my mind. That place was nice because there was no one there. But you tell us. Go ahead, Jake.
So, I where we shot at was in Waterford. There's this like historical like town, and it's really strange. I've never really seen anything like that anywhere else. But it's like a museum almost of these like old buildings, and once a year for about a week, people will dress up like it's the olden time. They'll open up the buildings and they'll like reenact living in the olden times. People can just walk in and learn, and that's pretty cool. But the thing is, those buildings are there year round, and it's a park that people can walk around in, and it's been there since my childhood because I grew up around this area.
And it's always dead. There's no one there for some reason.
It's
there's never anybody there. Yeah, it's really nice,
town.
especially for guerrilla filmmaking. The thing is, though, there's a sign out front that says it's open from dusk till dawn.
Yeah.
Or from dawn till dusk, and It's weird
so
because
bad.
you're not really supposed to be there at night, but we've ended up shooting there at night multiple times without,
Oh, yeah.
you know, getting in trouble.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, that's another thing that's part of guerrilla filmmaking. You should definitely follow law. Like, don't ever break the law.
You can't follow
but
the law.
But the thing with guerrilla filmmaking is you steal shots. You're going to go to places where you don't necessarily have to have permission. You get there, steal the shots, get out, and then you're good.
Yeah, and it's actually
kind
kind
of
of amazing. You start realizing how many different opportunities there are to steal shots. You're like, oh, I got a way out in public here in town square. Can I do it in the mall? Can I do it in the arcade? You know, it's just like endless possibility when you don't have to do any paperwork. You know, it's
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
but obviously, you know, let all the girl fans out there know, you know, if the cops pull up on you, you know,
Just explain.
yeah,
You know,
explain, find a new location. I know filmmakers who have gotten, obviously, people who are using fake guns out in like open fields who have gotten the cops called on him, you know.
Right.
And even with guerrilla filmmaking, if you're going to do something crazy, you know, it's always never hurts to call the police department and just let them know that if they get any calls, there's people filming, you know. But yeah, we filmed so much of this just around Metro Detroit and Michigan, and just spots that were like you wouldn't think twice, just places you just walk with your family or something, or walk past one day. And there are so many spots like that out and about that are just waiting to be filmed and that can really tell a story wherever you are in America. I'm telling you. So there's really never an excuse that I don't have a location. Just get out of your house, people. Don't film in your house. Go somewhere. There's water
Yeah.
towers, there's parks, there's highways, there's so much stories waiting to be told outside.
Creativity. Absolutely.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that was kind of the lake tapes. It's about the lake, you know, we kind of, I mean, I didn't create it, but it was kind of oriented around the nature idea because we knew we weren't going to be inside a lot.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. And
Yeah.
there's also that nature center that is right across the street from that little like museum area.
Yep,
which
and
had
a lot of the scenes you see in the lake tapes that are in like deeper in the forest are really just there.
yeah, they're right across the street.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, 5-minute walk or 10-minute walk, but still, it was fun.
Jake, where
Yeah.
did you go to school to learn all this?
I went to the Motion Picture Institute. It's in Troy. It's a very good school. The
Highly
teachers there
recommend.
are wonderful. Connor was there in my class. I learned so much there. I am plugging him. It's just such a good school. And if you're going into film and you're in Michigan, I highly recommend it. I think it's the largest film school and the oldest film school in Michigan. But yeah, no, I highly recommend that place.
I think it might be for all of the Midwest, but yeah, for whatever reason, there are some MPI haters that are out there saying they don't teach you anything there. Wrong.
Wrong.
Let me tell you, I went into MPI knowing how to use Final Cut Pro pretty fluently, knowing how to make YouTube videos, but they gave me the strength to make movies and understand that movies aren't YouTube videos, which is okay. This is okay that they're not. It's not a dog on videos. It's just saying that there's a chemistry and like almost a science behind why movies work to your eyes, and that I really never in your brain, and that I never really appreciated or took the time to understood until Jeremy Schroeder taught me at MPI. So I recommend everybody go if they have the opportunity and they want to get in the film industry in Michigan.
Now, Connor, I have to ask you, okay, for the audience, because what you just said will say, you know, make people go, huh? Okay. What's the difference between making a film and a YouTube video?
Ooh, good question.
Yeah.
Well, nowadays the line is actually becoming a lot thinner because Casey Neistat he normalized the whole 3-act structure in YouTube videos. YouTube videos used to be kind of just like a YouTube video, you know, silly video, something cat playing might go viral. But now they're a lot more ambitious. Sometimes you'll see videos that are like 40 minutes long that tell the whole story. But I would say primarily what the difference is a YouTube video is something you can make on your own. A movie is something I think you need collaborators with for sure. And you need to get people on the same time zone, same time, same page, same date. Make sure everyone shows up.
See, now that's the difference. That's a great explanation. It's like when I watched Jake and I was privileged to wear that mask and everything else. I noticed, I learned a lot just it's fascinating watching a group of people, however small but significant, come together and shoot a scene and then reshoot and then this and then that and then cut and then everything else, all the jargon that goes with it. It's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
There's
no, film is
going
yeah.
through the air. It's just
it's awesome. And then the editing process, hanging out with your friends while you're editing it is so much fun. And then seeing the final cut, and Jake's crazy with the editing. He'll like get it done the day of, and then we'll have the video at night to watch it. So and plus it's just like a lot of times when you hang out with your friends, it's like, yeah, we drank, we smoked, we read, yeah. But when you do this, it's like you have something to show for it after you hang out, and it's like, oh, cool. And, even if it's not the best thing you ever made, it's like that Tarantino quote where he's like, every weekend be shooting something with your friends. It's practice and you're moving towards something that you want to do for a living. So it can never be bad.
he said that.
Yeah, he recommended, somebody asked him, some young kid I remember one time at a panel asked him advice to become a filmmaker. And he was like, you need to be getting out every week with your friends because no matter how much you suck at something, you do it over and over again, you're going to get good at it.
It's worth doing badly until you do it well.
Amen.
Hey, Jake,
Yeah.
talk to us. I'm curious. Talk to us, and it's probably on the mind of a lot of people. Well, before I can make any kind of film, I need a $35,000 camera. I need something, something really that is powerful and things like that before I can shoot my dream. How true is that?
Actually, yeah, that's incorrect. You don't need the best camera in the world. You don't even need a camera. You could use your phone if you want. I'm actually gonna disagree with what Connor said earlier. You don't need a group of people to make a film. You can make a film by yourself. Phil Tippett, he was
I didn't know that name.
he is a stop motion animator. He
Yeah.
did for like Jurassic Park and RoboCop and all those movies. He just finished his film called Mad God. It is completely stop motion animation, but he did it all by himself. There is some like actors and stuff in it, but like it's mainly stop motion. He did that all by himself for 30 years, and he just finished it, and it was absolutely incredible.
How did he
Definitely
find
worth
time?
like,
How did he find 30 years to do it?
well, if it's your job, you get paid to do it. But
I don't have time. Yes, you do. 30 years?
yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is, though, you could, if you're just making a movie with your phone, you could just make it by yourself. I've done that personally. I have a few videos on my my YouTube channel that I've made by myself. The story's a little bit more like surreal, but it's still something, And again, like what Connor was saying, just get out there and make something. If you don't have any friends that want to, which I was in a time where I didn't have any friends who wanted to make movies with me, I did it by myself. And all you need, again, is just passion, heart, and a story, and you've got a film. Which that leads into another thing. How do you come up with a story to make a film? Which this is my creative process. I have a bunch of different ways of doing it. So personally, my mind is like hyperactive. I'm always thinking of ideas. But it doesn't just like, you can't sit there and think like, oh, this is a story I'm going to make. It just comes to you. Like these stories are like, you're wandering through the fog and you're getting hit with these like flaming arrows and they're just hitting you. And it's just out of nowhere, and sometimes you can fish for them, which my idol, who is a filmmaker, his name is David Lynch, he says that looking for ideas is like fishing, and you got to go down way deep to find the good ones and the big ones. But when it comes to me personally, I will be doing something that has nothing to do with storytelling, and all of a sudden it just hits me and I get this idea. And recently I've had this notes in my app, in my phone, like the notes app, and I've just been writing down idea after idea after idea, and I'll get like 20 ideas and I'll put them on a piece of paper, and I'll sift through them and be like, oh, this one can go together and this one can go together, and mash them up. And I'll have 20 of these ideas, and you've got yourself a film. You've got yourself a story. Now, the hardest part is actually writing it. With any screenwriter, I'm pretty sure they can agree with this. Like, you love conceptualizing the story. You love the feeling of it. You might even have like frames in your head. Like, you can see the cinema of this movie in your head, and you're conceptualizing it, and you can like almost even play the movie out in your head, the entire thing. But then it comes down to writing it, and you're sitting at your desk, and you've written out, the title, you've written out, interior, house, day, and then it comes to actually writing it, and it's the hardest thing in the world, to actually like get yourself writing. There's so many ways you can get around the procrastination. With me, I have music. Music helps me write, and it's quite an amazing thing what music can do for you. But yeah, so that's like the creative process I take. It's just, meditating, and meditation, is not always like sitting there with your legs crossed. You could be doing something monotonous, like I usually get my ideas at work when I'm like, just zoning out, doing my work, and all of a sudden, there you go. You got a story idea, you write it down, and then you just keep going and going and going. It's like a snowball going down a hill, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
So the key is to get yourself somewhere you're really, really bored and have to think of a story.
Well, it's not always that, but yes, that's just me personally. It's different for everybody. But, if you really want to be a storyteller, which it's not just film. I'm working on a novel right now. But, mainly I do, scripts and films. But if you want to be a storyteller, it's just, you got to find that idea, and then another idea, and then you'll have a million ideas that you can just sift through and put together. So, yeah.
You have to enjoy it, I would imagine, because it's not all about money. I mean, money is a product, and it helps, but originally it comes from within, right? That's what you're saying?
And actually, yeah, you're going to be spending more money than you're probably going to get, especially, at this level, of independent like filmmaker and storyteller. You're probably going to be spending more than you are getting back. And so, yeah, it's got to take the passion. I mean, I love storytelling because you're creating something that's never existed before. When you're creating a film, you're literally making a world, characters, these feelings that people are going to feel by watching it out of complete scratch. They've never existed before. They don't technically exist, but inside of the viewers' heads. And that's, the beauty of storytelling. They've never existed before, and you're literally creating. And that's, the beauty of storytelling.
I like that.
Everyone should know what that feels like once in their life.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was that, Connor?
Everyone should know what that feels like once in their life, for sure.
Oh, yeah. You got to slow down and allow the creativity to come. And you can't force it, can you guys?
No, you can't. And sometimes it's like there's like an M. Night Shyamalan quote. It's like sometimes you'll get an idea that just works so good, it's so sticky. Like what I mean by that is like it starts writing itself. Like you'll get idea after idea, and it's those ideas that really you got to focus on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember Steven Spielberg and George Lucas, it took them like 15 years collaborating to make Star Wars.
Wow.
I mean,
and I heard the other day that George Lucas, his last name, Luke, like Luke Skywalker, like he based the main character after himself.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if it's true, but I was like, oh, that's interesting.
It makes sense. You put a part, Jake, you put a part of yourself into the story then, right?
Yeah, there's no way around that. You're going to. Like, if you're telling a story, you're going to end up putting yourself in that story, whether you know it or not,
All right.
Like,
so
every single story.
What would you say of yourself you put into the lake tapes? What's the most
in the lake tapes?
Yeah.
Good question.
Well, there's a lot. It's kind of weird, and I'm kind of a weird guy.
Is he the Jake injection? Gorp?
I mean, maybe, but I think the biggest thing in the lake tape that is like a reflection of myself is the character Orion, which was literally played by me because I love space and astronomy and all that kind of stuff, and he's literally an astronaut. So
Yeah,
that's just
that
a
was the scene
reflection of
we shot in the future, right?
right. Yeah.
Right.
So
Okay.
when it comes to the lake tapes, my process was a little bit different than what I explained. Like I said, it's different for everybody, but it's also different with different like films and different way of making films. With the lake tapes, because it was guerrilla filmmaking, and I had to change the story multiple times. The first 3 episodes were literally just like anything goes. Uh, it the first episode was based off of a film that I made when I was like probably 16 years old, where this guy discovers a lake. The lake eats people and makes monsters out of the like corpses, and like it didn't translate very well because I didn't know how to actually do that. But that was like the concept of what I was making the first episode of Lake Tapes off of. And then the second episode, I thought, what if a guy was turned into an orb, and then that orb like went off to like help him turn into the orb and like make like a weird time loop thing, which I ended up doing that. And then I thought, what if Billy McStone, one of my most famous characters, ended up in the lake tapes? So that was the third episode. The fourth through sixth episode was originally, or those episodes were originally going to introduce my other characters that I have already had established in my filmography with Abaddon and Bale and all of them. They were going to be in those, but I decided to scrap that because I couldn't get all the people for it. Which,
They were teased. They were teased, but not shown.
they were teased. They actually did end up in the end. Abaddon did.
They were teased, right? What?
But
So I feel like Lake Tapes, Jake. It's like you said, like you made the same movie 5 years ago, except this time around. But even with that first episode, you have a better idea just because you've been practicing more and you went to film school of how to tell stories with shots, like that shot of Daniel running through the field and the close-ups of Gore. Like that was effective and good visual storytelling. What the Lake Tapes? Maybe I'm wrong. I know all your stuff's kind of been a little creepy, but Lake Tapes is a little more scary than the older stuff you've done. Any reason for that?
So horror is one of those film genres that is so subjective, and there's no 100% way of doing it. And I've been trying to figure out what my subgenre of horror is, and I've thought for a while that it's like surrealism. But I'm not really too sure. I tried my hand at horror a couple of years ago when I was like 16, and it didn't really translate very well. But when it comes to lake tapes,
We'll apologize. That was your first date. It's okay.
right? I know. But like, what I'm saying is like, it's scarier now because I've kind of gotten my hand at it, and my type of horror is just what can I do to confuse the audience so much to that when they're scared.
Yeah, it's very kind of confusing, creepy feeling that you get watching your movies. Like, what is this man in a creepy worm mask chasing me for?
Right.
That.
I'm trying to put visuals on the screen that are so strange and weird that it like makes the audience like scared and uncomfortable.
You are in good company because Twilight Zone, Rod Serling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All he did was write. He died in his 60s, I think, but all he did was write. Okay. And I am sure, I don't know his backstory, but not everybody probably understood and or appreciated what he had to offer until it took off. So, because your lake tapes kind of remind me of Twilight Zone. You got this deserted town, and there's Connor disappears and he reappears, and
new characters every week.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. That's what I'm trying to get at. New character, and it's creative. It's not like, zombie. Ooh, it's a zombie. Okay. that's been overdone. You have a creative slant that's uniquely your own. That's what I'm trying to say.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, I appreciate that.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So with the lake tapes, though, the thing about it is it really doesn't have like a message or a theme. There might be some that were accidentally like put in there and people can like interpret it their own way. But the
Right.
thing is, people will tell you that like stories need a theme, and I disagree with that. I think you can have a film that is just the way it is because it's the way it is. You know, lake tapes, like it's weird just to be weird, and that could be a theme itself, but I didn't write a theme in there specifically. So people will say that, but you know, I disagree. You don't have to have a theme or anything like that or a message. You can just make a movie to make a movie. You know,
I agree.
you can still have you need a story, but like you know,
Yeah.
it doesn't have a message.
You know what I love best about doing things like this? I got to confess, is the outtakes.
Yeah,
You know, did you ever record outtakes?
I'm sure there are. I need to get around to looking at that and like putting together like a little bloopers video, but
Okay.
yeah, I'm sure there are.
Sometimes the outtakes make it into the final cut, like the clip of me falling and Mason's gosh, what's it called?
No, yeah, where he slipped on the ice.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, slipped on the ice. We kept rolling the scene anyways, and Jake just cut the audio out where he was like, "Are you okay?"
I like that. You
Good
know,
stuff.
it shows filmmakers that it's okay to make mistakes, which are just
Yeah.
learning curves. But it's okay. It's not, oh, I got to make this film perfect. No, then you're gonna fail. It's gonna be miserable. It has to be human, right? Humane.
Yep.
I mean, even when I had the privilege, thank you very much for playing Gort for a while. I played it as a little kid with the stick in the water and that. And then that guy came along. Those are classic moments. If you remember, that old man came along walking down the trail, and I had the mask on, and you guys were talking technical over on the side. I was just waiting there, and I let him pass. But how I did, I went like, and he goes, and he took off. He was like in his 70s or something. I couldn't stop laughing for a half hour. It was hilarious. But what I'm saying is that you provide life and entertainment. I'm going to call it entertainment because that's what it is. You know, that could be a theme, right? Entertainment.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Lake tapes is like peak entertainment in my opinion. Like that's one of the only reasons I make movies now is like I do have messages sometimes, but it's, you know, it's for entertainment. I'm there to entertain people.
Yeah, and people need that. They really do, especially nowadays. You know, we've got to be serious about everything. Serious. No, you don't. That'll give you a heart attack.
I feel like Jake on his movie sets, he always ends up with more people showing up than he planned. Because I remember, like, on his dialogue film, during film school, we shot at his grandma's house, and I remember there was like 20 people, crew and cast in his house, and his grandma was just like, "Wow, this takes a lot of people."
Well, Jake, in my opinion, you've always been very approachable, kind, and understanding. Just a good,
and you bring people of all ages, sizes, shapes, colors to your sets. You know, it's like it's crazy the amount of, not crazy, but it's cool, like the diversity and like everyone that comes to work together. You know,
I'll say it's organic. I mean, you start out with an idea, like you said, like you've been talking about. And you include other people, and it's like, I don't know. To me, it's like an organized recess. You know?
Yeah, that's what it does kind of feel like. Yeah,
you know, it was just a lot
Field
of fun.
day.
What the heat was like, heat index was like. It was it's something that this industry needs. The industry needs you, Jake. No pressure, but still,
no pressure. The Michigan industry needs you.
What are your plans for the future?
Well, okay, so I've been working on this novel and I plan to have it published within the next like 1 or 2 years. It's going to take me a minute because it's a big project. It's a very large story and I've never written a novel before and I'm kind of excited to, you know, do it. I've got a quarter of a chapter done out of like 6. So I'm working on that right now. It's also a hybrid graphic novel. You know, it's your basic novel, but then it's going to break and be like illustrated. So
Okay.
I have that. I am working on Lake Tapes 2 at the moment. And I'm working on some other, short films and other films of that matter. But there's always going to be, time for a little short here and there on the YouTube channel. I have a Halloween special coming up on the Lake Tape or on the Forest Edge channel. So be on the lookout for that. It's something I've been working on since I think March. So
Wow.
yeah, you'll be seeing that pretty soon. But yeah, no, and I've been working on a lot of scripts, and we'll be seeing what goes on with that.
Now that you sort of cast the line in the lake, okay, you've hooked some people, including me. Where can people find you?
You can find me on my YouTube channel. I believe my email is linked to it. So if you just go to the about part of my YouTube channel, you can find my email there. I have a Facebook. It's just my name, Jake Fidler, Fidler. So you can reach me there. If you're interested in any of my projects, I love talking about them and going in depth about them. So I'm always open for that. And if you just want to be in any of my films, I'm always open for that. I don't think I'm going to be filming anything for the rest of this year, but definitely within 2023, I'll be working on stuff. So
Cool, awesome. No, I'm excited. It was
Maybe
good.
you start someone's acting career. Go shoot something with Jake.
yeah,
That's a good thing to say. I like that. You have to start somewhere. You might as well start at the beginning.
Yep.
In fact, every day is a new beginning. A new idea. And I understand about the little notepad there. I'm sure Connor's the same way. Got this idea in the middle of whatever you're doing. You got to stop, right? And you got to put it down.
Because you don't want to lose it. It's like gold. It's like valuable.
Yeah,
exactly.
like there was a butterfly on my shoulder. Where'd it go?
You feel like Rumpelstiltskin when you're just sitting there thinking, and out of nowhere you turn hay into gold. You're like, oh, I need to keep this.
Exactly. Now, Jake, I have a question for you, for everybody that's listening. If you could give any advice to a beginning filmmaker or novelist or writer, what would it be?
My biggest things I would say is don't listen to people who tell you to not do the story you want. If you have an idea that you genuinely love and people are telling you that it's dumb or stupid, do it anyway. Write it out. If you end up hating it, you end up hating it. That's just, how it goes sometimes. But if you end up loving it and people are hating it, who cares? It's your story. And there is somebody out there who will love it. Another thing is always write down your ideas. Some of them you don't have to because you love them so much, they'll stay there. I've got like 6 stories that I haven't written down, but they're still with me, and those are the good ones. You're going to have those. Never stop writing. Go out with your friends every weekend and film something. Like Connor said about Quentin Tarantino, he's right. You got to keep making stuff. So those are my tips. Never listen to idiots who talk you out of good ideas. Always write down your ideas and stick with them, and film something every week or every weekend. So that's it.
I like it. That's cool. Hey, it's been a privilege talking to you, Jake, and you too, Connor.
My pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for being on my show, Real Actors, Real Answers. This is going to go out pretty soon, and I think everybody's going to really appreciate what you had to say, both of you. So, all right.
Awesome.
Thank you. Yeah.
Pleasure, gentlemen.
For your day, and let's do this again soon, okay?
Amen. Let's do it.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right.